Hello, everyone. I wanted to go over the lesson plan template because this is an important part of this course for you to get your first experience working with the BSU lesson plan format and just kind of go over what are the components of a lesson plan. And I know that some of you already have already started working on this, and that's great. But I'm going to ask you to just watch this video, and I think it will help you as you move forward. So, the BSU lesson plan template is what's required from BSU. It is not required throughout the state of Massachusetts. It's something that happens that everybody has their own format. So you'll find in a school that a principal will have their own way of doing lesson plans, and or a teaching team will have their own way of doing lesson plans, and everybody is different. Some people ask you to hand them in every week. Some people ask you to hand them in every couple of weeks. I've had principals that have done both. Sometimes they ask you to have hand in your lesson plan book, which is just a quick outline of what you're doing. But as you are in the teacher preparation program, this is one of the skills that you need to learn as to how to create a formal lesson plan. So this one is slightly modified. It doesn't include every single thing you'd see on your lesson plan when you were doing student teaching, but it includes the essential part and the pieces that you need to become familiar with as you go through this as you go through our program, and as you begin to prepare for your methods classes. Now, so you begin with your name, the grade, whether or not this is going to be a small group. And remember, every lesson plan that you write is just for one grade. Even if the book that you're using says it could be used from grades 1 to 4, you pick a grade and you're going to choose a standard that goes with that grade. So you're going to choose small group or a whole class. It may be that you're doing the whole class and then breaking up into small groups. That's fine, but that means it's a whole class. Everybody in the class is going to do it, not just one small group that you're working with, maybe at a table or something. So the lesson topic, is it reading? Is it math? Is it science? And then what are your objectives? What do you want the students to do? So at the end of this lesson, the students will be able to, and whatever that is, and how long the lesson should be. And as a rule of thumb, we say that first graders have half-hour lessons, second graders have 40-minute lessons, third graders are somewhere around the 45-minute point, fourth graders tend to be around somewhere between around 50 minutes. Fifth graders can handle an hour, and sixth graders can usually handle somewhere between an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. So lessons can be that long. And I mean, there's some variation in that, but that's sort of the rule of thumb. Kindergartners, just as an aside, usually are 20-minute lessons. So after you put down your lesson, so for example, if it was third grade and you were teaching, the topic you were teaching is reading, you would put here reading, and then you might put main idea. And so students will be able to identify the main idea in a story. And the duration of the lesson is 45 minutes. The Massachusetts standard to be addressed, so you find the standard that addresses what you want to teach. And it might be that you have a standard, or there is a standard that's already set that goes with the book that you're teaching, and then you need to decide what the lesson objective is. The standard will tell you that, but this is sort of in user-friendly language. So a lot of times people will say put it in kid-friendly language because you can post it on your board, and a lot of principals like you to do that, to have it on posted for your lesson at the beginning of the day. It's these are the things we're going to do. So, and then what is your assessment? How are you going to evaluate what your students learned, and how did they learn the standards? What are the differentiation strategies you would use for the learners in your room? And we're going over that this week. And what should students know and be able to do prior to starting this lesson. So should they be able to read at a third grade level? Should they be able to read with support at a third grade level? Should they be able to identify? They should have, if you're teaching a nonfiction lesson, should they have already had some pre-reading about this, about the person or the event that you're teaching about? And remember, with differentiation strategies, you're looking at the students in your room who are performing below grade level and the students in your room who are performing above grade level. And also students like English learners and that kind of thing, or who have special needs. You don't have to list all of those, but I would like you in this lesson plan to pick, to think about what you could do to support those students above grade level and those students below grade level. So what are the instructional items? What do you need? What are the materials? What are the resources? What are the tools that you're going to use? Are you going to use manipulatives? Are you going to use Legos? Are you going to use, you might not use anything, but you might have charts up on the wall that explain like what the theme is in a book or what a main character is, so students can reference them. The text that you use or the websites, and any videos you're showing, and then things like pencils and papers and pens and crayons and that stuff. And then this is the step-by-step procedure. So this should be, so I could look at it and say, this is how you began your lesson, this is what the lesson's going to look like during it, and this is how you're going to wrap it up. And then anywhere you got your lesson plan, so where you got this lesson or activity from, and ways that you would do classroom management during this lesson. Now, just a quick thing about the components of the lesson or the actual activity that you're doing. I don't want you to make this up yourself. You don't have to do that. Get it from somewhere else. Find a resource online that goes along with the book that you've been using. I really want to encourage you to do that kind of research. Don't pay for anything on Teachers Pay Teachers, but get ideas from what's being done online, because that's what good teachers do. They steal other people's ideas, they make them even better, and then what we do is we offer them to other people. We want other teachers to take our ideas and make them and take them to another level. And I cannot tell you how many times where I shared a lesson with one of my colleagues, and they took the lesson and they made it better, and then I took their better version and then created another version for me. So that teaching is very much done in community and done in support of each other. So I really want to encourage you to steal ideas and make them your own, but not feel the burden of creating something from scratch, because that's really not what we do as teachers. We use methods and procedures and materials that have been tested both in research but also in the classroom. Okay, so I think this is it for this lesson plan. As you go through it, keep working on it. And remember that what you're sending me is a draft. I'm looking at it as a draft and not as the world's greatest lesson plan. And I really want to be able to support you and give you feedback. And that's what I'm going to do in your lesson plans. I'm going to give you lots and lots of feedback. So be ready for that. And know that that's how I want you to approach this, as very much a work in progress. Okay, I hope this helps.